The Wind Hover, the official magazine of the Jesuits in the Philippines. Written by Jesuits and their lay partners, The Wind Hover features real stories about the Jesuits and their various ministries. Be inspired. Be blessed. Subscribe to The Wind Hover. For inquiries, call the Philippine Jesuit Aid Association at telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892. Once again, Philippine Jesuit Aid Association, telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892.
Kaibigan, alam mo na ba kung anong dapat gawin upang iwasan at sugpuin ang COVID-19? Iwasang hawakan ang bibig, mata at ilong. Laging maghugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig sa loob ng 20 segundo. Linisin ang mga bagay na palaging hinahawakan. Kumain ng balanse at masusustansyang pagkain. Matulog ng sapat, huwag magpupuyat. Stay home. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
We are now on YouTube. Watch all of our live episodes plus exclusive content in our channel at radyo-katipunan FM. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest updates. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Blue Eagle kami, di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
What's poppin' and welcome to Popcorn with Cholo Sediaren, your stop for all things pop, where we talk about all things pop culture from here in the Philippines to the rest of the globe. Happy Thursday and welcome back, everyone. As promised a few weeks back, this is part 2 of our 2-part series. The first one was aired earlier in September, which was called August Ganaps That Slipped Away. And this time around, we have the music videos that made us as we celebrate 40 years of MTV. And this time around, we do recall some of our favorite music videos of all time and talk about the impact of music videos in the music industry and entertainment in general through the lens of MTV, Mix, and all our favorite artists down the line. Joining us, of course, in this episode are our kapitbahays, our extra special guest co-hosts for the day, Alwin and Adrian of Pop Emergency. And of course, we have our Popcorn co-hosts, Paula, Maxine, Jeremiah, and Burns. So without further ado, do enjoy this episode of Popcorn for the music videos that made us.
Right.
So speaking of visions, now we're gonna be heading to a lot of visionaries that have contributed to our lives, and that is through music, and specifically music videos, with our main episode for the week, which is the music videos that made us. So ayun na nga, MTV just celebrated its 40th year at the beginning of the month, and with that prompted this episode, and balikan natin yung impact of MTV or in general music videos into the culture, the pop culture, and eventually let's dive into some personal stories, and balikan natin yung mga music videos that we personally love and made us into who we are today. So let's talk about MTV just a little bit. And it actually started airing on August 1st, 1981. So it definitely started as MTV Music Television, but now alam na natin MTV is like not music TV anymore. It's really just like a mix of so many things. A lot of people are actually like, is this really still MTV? Because there's no music, there's not much music anymore aside from mga reality shows and celebrity content and all that. But definitely they made their mark in starting the culture of music videos and making music videos into a thing. Period. That's pretty much it. And ayun. I guess before we head to music videos, a lot of iconic reality shows came from MTV as well. I think Paula wanted to touch on this a bit before we get to the meat of the show.
Where do we even start?
Oh my god, like I don't even know. Like for the longest time, like MTV was just reality shows to me. It was not where I went to watch music videos. That was, and we'll touch on this later again. Like it was Mix. If I wanted to watch music videos, it would be on Mix. But if I wanted to watch good trashy reality shows, I would go to MTV. Like everybody knows Cribs. We all know and love that show. It was a dream of every child to go around their house introducing it like it was on Cribs, and the bedroom being like, and this is where the magic happens, without knowing what kind of magic that was when we were 12. Like that was not had no idea what kind of magic, but that's, I wanted to say that on camera.
And it's called black magic.
And it's called black magic. Pimp My Ride was also like super great.
God damn.
Right? Like
Right. I remember there was this episode where parang the guy outfitted his Hummer with a soft serve ice cream machine. I mean, camp,
right? Like campiest thing ever when we were children. And it was just like super like, you don't need this, but at the same time, I need this. I need this in my life. It's so good. And then of course we have My Super Sweet 16.
Oh my god.
And it was just like these annoying little girls, but at the same time, I can't stop watching them be the annoying little girls that they are.
My favorite episode of My Super Sweet 16 was this girl who, when she got her gift for her Sweet 16, which was a silver Porsche, she started crying because her parents gave her the wrong color of the Porsche. The best! I love me, an entitled white girl.
Right? They're so funny.
Parents in training. Oh, fun fact, Jennifer Lawrence's first ever TV or movie appearance was in a commercial for My Super Sweet 16. That's
No. Oh,
So,
wow.
That's where she got her SAG card.
I love her for that. Love her for that. And we also have Teen Moms, which is like enlightening in its own way. In its own way, it was very enlightening because like I had never been exposed to young mothers until I watched Teen Moms.
Yun yung American counterpart ng 14, Teen Moms.
Yes, exactly. With as much drama as it was. And Gabby, I don't know, guys, like it was just great. I don't know if you guys watched Paris Hilton's My New BFF. Like that's where I loved Paris Hilton more because it was just like the shallow queen, literally like selling her friends off. It's just, I don't know, like it built this great culture of reality show that I don't think we even realize that it was all thanks to MTV. And if you can, try watching. Sorry.
What's that show with Nick Cannon?
Ano yun, Jeremiah?
What's that show with Nick
What
Cannon?
Wild and Out.
Yeah,
Wild
yung
and Out.
nag-rap battle. Rap battle ba yun? Or nag-o-okrayan lang sila?
There were rap battles. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
basically
Literally,
on
literally
MTV.
nag-aaway lang sila sa Wild and Out.
Right.
Sorry, I was struggling with my straight. So I had to translate.
Right. Punk 2. Oh my god.
Punk, yes.
Started
Parental
all
control.
the pranks that you guys know right now.
It's a prank.
Yeah.
Started.
Yeah.
Started there.
Diba? Was MTV?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah,
But
Punk was MTV. Yeah.
it's such. When I think of MTV reality shows, I think of 2000s culture. How everything was
Exactly.
allowed to be so
Yes.
trashy
Yes.
and dumb. Parang
Jersey
kasi,
Shore.
Jersey Shore!
Shore, oh my god, yeah.
yeah, Jersey
And then
Exactly.
its sequel, Geordie Shore.
Right?
Parang kasi, I don't know if you guys feel it, but then when we entered the 2010s, parang there was a need for all entertainment to have meaning. But in the 2000s, you can
It's
just
just like
watch
anything.
bratty 16-year-olds throw fits and tantrums on their 16th birthday. And it was entertaining. It really was.
I think like the Kardashians wouldn't be who they are, or the show wouldn't be what it is if it weren't for the reality shows on MTV first. Because it set the palette for people. You accept these kinds of like ridiculous premises and these like entitled people. And it was the perfect opportunity for the Kardashians to cash in on it. So I love MTV, guys. I love MTV shows. Beavis and Butthead was also like a great turning point in terms of
And Darla rin,
animation.
diba? Was Darla there?
Darla also, yeah.
Darla Soler, char. Anyway,
Oh
ako
my God.
personally yung pinanood ko talaga sa MTV later on na late 2010 sa Awkward But
Oh my God.
for
I
another
love that
story.
show.
Teen Wolf. Oh my God.
Yes,
It's
Teen
a
Wolf.
cultural shift.
But like favorite ko sa Awkward yung You're Welcome. May ganun pa sa si Sadie. Anyway,
Sadie.
speaking
I
of
love Sadie. Oh my god.
yes. And that iconic parang before Evan Hansen happened, si Jenna with her arm
Jenna.
cast was a thing. She
Yeah.
always had
Yes.
her hand graced. Anyway, speaking of shows on MTV, syempre one of the most iconic shows that they have on there is the MTV Video Music Awards, which has really led to a lot of the most iconic ever moments in pop culture history.
Gaga in an egg.
Gaga in an egg.
Gaga in a meat dress. Ang dami. Why did
Yes. It's Britney and Madonna kissing.
Yeah.
We also have Miley Cyrus's like
Finger.
Bangers era period.
Robin Thicke.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
God.
just like a lot of things that came out of Britney and the Snake. Those are all
Yeah.
MTV VMA moments. Kanye and Taylor Swift.
Kanye and
Beyonce.
Taylor, yeah.
It's all MTV stuff. But coming off of that, let's talk about music videos in general and their impact, because a lot of things that we see in music videos actually seep into the larger culture, from the fashion that's presented there to mga dance crazes, mga aserehe, lahat ng mga
Yeah.
Gangnam Style. Those are all from music videos that all just like became a pop culture thing. You've had Britney's, Beyonce's, Whitney's, everyone, all the pop queens, and syempre the king of pop, Michael Jackson, then really like made his mark in music videos with Thriller.
Yeah,
Billie
Thriller and
Jean.
Billie Jean, yeah.
So all of those are really like ingrained in the pop culture through MTV. So let's talk about current music videos generation. Syempre ngayon, times have been changing, and it's also kind of changed the way that we've consumed music videos. From siguro it started mga late 2010s na, or mga 2010s, literally 2009, 2010 ganon na, we were starting to get off of that train of watching music videos on TV and waiting for charts and all that, and naging YouTube culture na.
Yeah.
What can we say about the digital age now of music videos?
There's a lot less waiting now because I remember like when we before the days of YouTube, like to see your favorite music videos, you'd have to wait for them to come on TV, just like TV shows. Now
Right.
we want to watch something, we go on Netflix. Back then it was like, okay, I have to wait at this time, whatever. And for music videos, pa, I remember on Disney Channel at least they came like commercial breaks, so you never knew when you were gonna get them. But then when YouTube became a thing, wow, you could just watch them anytime and over again.
Yeah. Nawala na yung parang collective thrill or like pag-aabang nga. Kasi parang
Yeah.
it's like
I
anytime,
remember
anywhere.
my mom made kwento to me when she was a college student in LaSalle. When Thriller came out in 1985, if I'm not mistaken, it was
May background music ka pang thunder and light.
yeah.
I'll contribute.
The marketing teams really pieced it out. Like there were radio singers saying, "Oh, Thriller will premiere at 3 p.m. on Saturday," and she vividly remembers being in the school cafeteria. Tapos bigla na lang, everyone was crowding around the TV in the cafeteria. It was such a communal thing back then. Is what I'm trying to say. I think na it was a cultural event. Like if you go to work the next day, you're gonna talk about the new music video. Kasi I don't know if that's still the case right now.
I
Like,
think it
ganun
still
lang.
is.
It is.
I think
Pero
it still is.
they just talk on Twitter now about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
like
I remember. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go. Yeah.
I think at
Go,
least
Alvin.
the staying power isn't as long
Mhm.
conversation-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Parang it could
It's
change.
fleeting.
Yes. R.I.P. Twitter.
RP Fleets.
But yeah, definitely, it's harder to garner attention now and like the watchability because you have now the next big thing every 5 minutes, the next big artist
Mhm.
every 5 days. Parang may bago na lahat. Dati parang tipid na, sabi nga ni Max, tipid na tipid lahat. The anticipation is really there. And I feel like a lot of controversial things came out of music videos that didn't necessarily
Oh God.
like sit well with people, like Madonna's era.
Madonna?
definitely.
Madonna.
Like the way they wanted to censor Vogue, was it?
Yeah,
And,
when she wore a see-through lace top, tapos kita yung nipples niya. Which is, even by today's standards, it's pretty risque. But it was like super controversial in 1990.
And yung Like a Prayer then I think was somehow controversial as well for putting the word prayer ba? Yun ba yun?
For
Yeah.
for
Cross and everything.
And like the choir, I think
Mhm.
they were also offended by that.
Like a Virgin was controversial. For
Yeah,
so-
that
Yeah.
But everything
Definitely.
Madonna is doing is controversial.
Definitely.
Exactly why she is the queen of pop,
Mhm.
right?
the Queen of Reinvention.
Exactly. But there's not much of a difference for me, I guess. But I just remember back then, I think 10 years ago, when Lady Gaga dropped Bad Romance or Telephone. I think it was a moment as well. But
Definitely.
it's kind of like a different thing from what we were experiencing from the television before. But I think that was the first time that I have anticipated a music video in the age of 2010s. And wow, that was when she did it again with Rain on Me with all those anticipations. I'm like, oh my God, we're kind of like witnessing what she did 10 years ago with Telephone, or she became that
If God
girl.
is a woman, Gaga is the
Right.
second coming of God.
Exactly. She brought the renaissance of visuals back then.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's important to talk about that as well. Na parang, I love MTV so much, but the shift, I guess, siguro is it's more of like us transferring to another network and now having yun nga. But I like what Max said na oo nga no, everything is so accessible now. And what a disappointment kapag wala sa Mix International Top 20 yung
Oh my God.
yung gusto mo, or wala sa top 10 ng MTV, di ba? So, yeah.
Masasad ka back in those days where
Oo,
sa
inaabangan ko
MTV
yun.
MTV Top 10, tapos Lady Gaga, Bad Romance, fell out of the chart. I feel bad.
Right.
You
I'm
didn't
so
vote enough.
pissed.
Your vote
I
didn't
know.
matter.
You didn't spend enough load on it.
To some extent, rin kasi going back to what Max said, I feel like, for lack of a better word, nowadays we're so fed by our artists. Like,
Uh-huh.
isang Instagram post lang. Ang dami na nilang teasers for a music video. Back then, when Bad Romance dropped, it would be months or like
Mhm.
until we get something else.
So do you
Isn't
guys
it?
miss the mystery?
Yeah, the mystery talaga. And na-prolong yung conversation eh. Like when Gaga drops Bad Romance, that will define her era, so to speak,
Yeah.
for the next few months. I don't think that's the case nowadays.
I was gonna say, isn't it crazy how we're saying back then and we're referring to Lady Gaga?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different generation now. But also talking about generations. How much do we think have music videos um evolved and have become bigger in this day and age compared to before? Like, definitely yung mga Michael Jackson, Madonna, Lady Gaga were already like in their own rights revolutionary, but now in this digital age, what do we think has changed in the music video game? Definitely Jeremiah mentioned na, oh, there's so much Easter eggs. Taylor Swift pa lang busog na busog ka na sa Easter eggs,
I
diba?
think
She is the Easter bunny.
I think the word is stunt.
Uh-huh.
Stunt. That's what people are looking for now. Like, first thing to come to mind is Taylor Swift Bad Blood. And then that's when, parang, do you remember
It's an
how
event.
everyone felt? It was an event that, oh my God, Cindy Crawford is in this. Lena Dunham. Parang, and then, how is she able to get all these big names? And I think, yeah, there's a need to get stunts.
Uh-huh.
Like, a very contemporary example for Kiss Me More, when Doja Cat and SZA got Alex Landy of Grey's Anatomy, parang gay Twitter went,
But yeah, yun nga eh, parang Bad Blood is actually like a game-changing event din, no? Like that gave the birth to the squad, quote unquote, or the term squad,
God.
popularize it in this day and age. Any other thoughts on the whole stunt thing or generally music videos right now?
For me,
Go.
sorry. I think one of the reasons, now circling back to our earlier discussion as to why there doesn't seem to be like that big of an event in terms of like music videos, or why there's not as much staying power, is because back then, like in the early 2010s, Spotify wasn't that like it wasn't a big thing, right? Like LimeWire was the thing. We would all illegally download our music or have to physically buy CDs, right? Like that was the case. So like listening to the music that we wanted to wasn't as easy as it is today. So what we would do to listen to music is we would go on MTV or we would go to Mix. And that's why everybody there was that the staying power for these music videos then, because it was a culture, it was a communal event, right? We were all listening or watching these music videos all at the same time because you had no other option. Your
It
internet
lasts
wasn't
long.
yeah, diba? Your internet wasn't fast enough to actually load the music videos you wanted.
Yeah.
Right? So you would just
So
watch,
true.
you would stick to MTV or Mix the whole day long. And because it's easier now, the music videos today, unless like you're as big or as culturally shifting as like say Gaga or BTS, diba? Or in any of these artists, you don't have that staying power in the minds of people. So like Jeremiah said, like it's interesting to see what artists do nowadays to try and keep that staying power. Like Doja Cat had TikTok miraculously, and that's what kept her in the minds of people for the longest
Doja
time.
Cat
So
is TikTok, period.
Doja Cat is TikTok, and now
Doja Cat
it's
is TikTok.
Olivia Rodrigo, diba? Like you're using the tools that you have. If artists then only had music videos, now there's such a wide array of tools for them to play with that it's interesting to see what they do with their content in order to stay relevant.
Paula, you make such a great point because tama ka when it comes to the staying power. Like, music videos back in the early 2010s would run for months after
Yeah.
Yes.
after it premieres. Like, kasi the reruns would, and it would play every afternoon. Kahit na it's not the number one song anymore, it would just keep playing.
Yeah. Crush was on the mix chart for like 2 months. And David Archuleta's not even that big of an artist, and he's not like the music video isn't even that good. I say this as an Archie stan. But like he was there for 2 months. So it's crazy what like repetition can do, and the lack of like di naman choice, but the lack of options can do for people.
Yeah.
I think Adrian wanted to say something also on that note.
In relation doon sa staying power, I think yung edge ng mga music videos nowadays, the power that they have is that they can send the stronger message. I love how a lot of music videos like insert their own narratives into sending the message. Like we have queer liberation. Remember when This Is America dropped? Two girls kissing, Tegan and Sarah music video, di ba? And Asian representation, we have BTS nowadays. And I love how, yun nga, parang the message is that stronger and mas leaning towards acceptance tuloy. Like yun tuloy yung bigger picture na nakikita ko ngayon in terms of music video. So
that's a really good point. Kasi parang, yun na nga, as Jeremiah mentioned earlier, parang mas may meaning na ngayon yung mga bagay-bagay as compared to before na, let's just do some random thing. Let's sing somewhere. Let's
It's
sing in a
very
warehouse.
intentional now. Visuals are intentional now. It used to be just like an accompaniment for the song to promote the song. If you remember, that's why siguro nauso talaga dati yung parang kaya pop culture thing yung sinasabi nila na pag nakikinig ka ng kanta tapos nandun ka sa bus na nagta-travel ka. Kasi music videos used to be just like that. Like they just sing the song while traveling or even on the beach before. So it wasn't as conceptual as it was. I mean, on the bigger picture. But if you have the budget, if you want to push boundaries like the big stars before, like Madonna, like Michael Jackson, you'll have meron kang makinarya to do that. You have the budget to do that. You have the airtime because people would, eat up or consume what you're going to produce. But now, the beautiful thing about this digital age is that anyone can do it and anyone can have an audience for it. And we're not limited by the 3 minutes that they're going to air on MTV or in any TV network. Right now, we're limitless. We can make visual albums now. We can produce a cinematic universe that these artists are doing. Chromatica, Doja Cat, diba? Itong mga inimbento nilang universe because they can do everything they want now versus back then na sobrang kwadrado lang na ito lang ang pwede natin gawin.
do you all remember Vigilant Citizen and how they always police the symbolic images na nilalabas ng mga music
Not
videos?
Adrian exposing my Illuminati
The
eyes.
Illuminati agenda, y'all.
Not here.
Nakamute ka
Yes, you're
dyan.
on mute, Jer.
Lahat na lang, basta number one hit ka, Illuminati.
Pati Million Moms, gano'n.
Your haters corny with that Illuminati mess.
Ang ganda rin nun na parang it's really much more immersive and much more, connected to the fans now. The power of fans and the authenticity of artists. Max, you're saying?
Yeah, I'll go off from there. Like in terms of content, artists now can give actual worlds. Like literally per album now, there's world building because music videos are just one out of the how many visuals they end up putting out. Because like apart from the main music video, which now in terms of like effects, production design are so much bigger than what we used to have. There are also vertical videos for Spotify or performance videos for Apple Music. And then you'd expect like a live acoustic version. And on top of that, you'd expect like those 5-second loops that come with playing the song on whatever streamer you're listening to. And then like
It's
Taylor Swift.
part of the art eh. Ngayon,
Exactly.
visuals are part of the art now.
Yeah. Like it packages the album in a way that people wouldn't package the album before. I guess before when we'd buy physical CDs, it would come with those booklets, and then per per like leaflet on the booklet, there would be like a picture that related to the song. I remember Taylor would do that. Like her CD booklets would be like actual storybooks because of how nice the visuals were on them. But then now the counterpart of that would be like the loops that come with the streams, as I said before. And because of that, like it's also kind of made artists a little more competitive because like now digital, it's very views centric. Like what determines a hit isn't always like the amount of votes it has. It's always the amount of views, the amount of likes. So all of those kind of contribute to the numbers that they make nowadays. If that makes sense. It's very different from before, wherein we'd like text in to vote or submit to vote. Is anyone alive?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And ayun, coming off of that nga, let's head on to the localizing MTV. And let's talk about Mix. Kasi Mix, syempre, in the Philippines is our local version of MTV. And personally, I was more really a Mix person than I was an MTV person in terms of music videos. You know, before going to school, habang hinintay mo yung school bus, nag-aabang ka lang ng Mix Daily Top 10. It's really like a really big chunk of Pinoy pop culture mix in the early days, 'di ba? Syempre yung mga mix VJs din, isa pa yan na alam mo yun, you wanted to become a mix VJ yourself with VJ Hart, VJ Luis, VJ Iya, VJ Nikki, lahat ng mga iconic mix VJs dyan.
The VJ Karel
Yes,
Erasure.
VJ Karel.
Excuse me.
Ayan, nagalit na si Alwin.
But that's very true though. And that also dictates how Pinoy sounds like
That's
back
so true.
then. Do you guys remember in 2000s that it's just Pinoy boy bands everywhere? And you know, Kyushe, Hale back then. As
Oh
in
my God,
talagang,
yes.
I think that was like renaissance yun ng mga banda.
Yes.
Starting off with Parokya ni Edgar and then papunta sa mga Kamikaze, Hale,
Oo.
Kyushe, also the birth of
Sponge
Kichinadal, Sponge Cola. So sabi nga, we had this discussion with our guest, si Jonathan Manalo. Pinoy pop sound is very different versus sa Western. So kung ano man yung pinapakinggan natin sa Western sound during that period, it's meron din tayong subculture. And it's good that Mix captured that subculture every time. So wow. And VJ Karel Erasure, we're not gonna
Patawad. She wasn't, I don't know who my bias was anymore. May bias pala sa Mix VJ.
O naman.
Pero yun, tama nga, parang Mix Daily Top 10 was like your daily source for what would be
kung anong ida-download mo sa LimeWire.
Oh, that's true.
Not me promoting piracy. Don't
Yes,
sue
we
me.
promoting piracy. It's okay. I'll take the fall, Alwin. Don't worry.
Yeah, your
Paula
favorite
Bay,
songs
Paula
available
Bay.
on your streaming platforms now.
Ina, tahabulin ko ni Derek Ramsey.
Where's my kamatis?
Any other like mix related memories na mga naalala nyo from the Mix days? I mean, buhay pa naman si Mix ngayon, pero syempre iba na yung panahon and artists don't really like rely on Mix anymore as much as they used to as a marketing tool.
Meron akong naalala, sabi lang nila, merong mga kanta na hit sa atin pero hindi pala siya hit sa ibang mundo.
Yeah.
So, ano ba? Like, Wine Up, Cat de Luna, Passenger Seat, yung mga ganun. Even thinking of You wasn't big back in every place. Pero dito, Thinking of You by Katy Perry was one of the most overplayed songs.
It's her best song. It's her best song.
Because it's overplayed. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuck with
her.
you. I love Katy Perry. But yeah, that too.
Amazing music video, by the way. For Thinking of You. The 40s.
Yes. Her styling there, so good. She looked beautiful.
I think it's the best she's ever looked in any music video.
And I think on that note nga na Alvin was saying, it kind of solidifies, before we even knew what it was, solidified the Philippines as a music hotspot talaga na we would launch a lot of artists that aren't even a thing in their own countries and then make them global superstars from the Philippines.
David Archuleta, nagka-teleserye siya dito.
Do not get me started on Nandito Ako. Do not get me started on it. No. It's an entire episode on itself. Can't. Jasmine Curtis Smith. Grabe.
That album I actually listened to with David sings OPM songs, really good. Except that Nandito Ako is kind of like questionable, but the English ones like South Border,
Rainbow. His version of Rainbow is so good.
God, South Border. Yeah.
But David Archuleta has this hold on the Filipino people that just is very strange.
I don't know what it is. Pero saktong matinee idol, boy next door.
We haven't had in a long time. Nung nag-American Idol siya, parang
it was
okay, wala na yung mga
era.
Walang Justin
Bieber.
Bieber.
Yan? Ganun ba?
Well, yung mga Star Circle quest na mga pinanggalingan, hindi naman talaga sila nag-sustain. So parang, nung naging interesado tayo dito sa David versus David, okay, we have Archuleta for the teenagers.
Baka may part Filipino blood pala si David Archuleta, di ba? Tingnan natin.
Wala. Okay. Yun yung funny because I think everybody thought nga na part Filipino siya, but he's Honduran. wala siyang Filipino blood at all. Sobrang funny.
Pusong Pinoy, ganon.
Pusong Pinoy.
You know, people make a joke na Chris Evans is actually black. Na Chris Jamal Evans.
Christopher Jamal Evans.
Parang ganyan with David Archuleta, like the David.
With an H.
Yeah.
David Jose. Santos Archuleta.
Do you guys remember David Archuleta? Every week siya ang cover ng Yahoo News. Tsaka yung pagbukas ng Yahoo Messenger, like, the results are in, and then David Archuleta is gonna be there. So, Yahoo Messenger sounds so
my God.
Do you guys remember the booklets na pwede mabilhin sa supermarket na may mga lyrics of all the top hits?
Yes.
Again, nandun si David Archuleta.
The mixed culture, honestly. Yeah.
Sabi, guys.
Song hits.
Song hits!
Oh, you call that song hits?
Yes. Yun pa yung mga panahon ng song
May guitar chords.
Oo, yun nga
yung may
sabihin
cards.
ko.
Yun.
Yung mga chords, that's how I learned how to play the guitar.
All of my life. Song hits pala tawag doon.
Ang ganda.
That was a whole culture on its own. Like,
Tapos habang nasa klase kayo, pinagpasahan, tapos mga ng teacher.
Are we that old?
I think so. I think we are.
Just exposed
Pinatawanan lang tayo ni Max. Ganun na tayo.
Max is just like, what are they talking about?
Oh my goodness.
What's a song hits?
We have the Spotify lyrics now.
So yun, that's my list. And I'll just chime on with everyone else's later on. Just a bit adjacent to Britney and the Teen Star also. Love Story by Taylor Swift.
Yes.
The Taylor Swift awakening of the world. I mean, even larger than Teardrops on my guitar. And Seven Things by Miley Cyrus.
Yes, that was so cute. With the flip phones.
And all the girls just like crying.
And her performances of Seven Things.
Sobrang funny because I saw on TikTok again, I just remember, during that era, the Miley, Demi, Selena. Do you remember the Disney knees? Where everyone would...
Yes.
Ayun
Nakaganon yung knees.
Demi Lovato especially.
This is me. That was like the Disney knees of the Disney knees.
Disney's.
Okay, next person. Your list, Paula.
Oh, okay. So, a gay icon and something I'm sure everybody loves, Vogue. Come on, like it started its own cultural phenomenon. Like aside from the song, voguing is still like something that is done by the gay community to this day, and it's spread to like regular pop culture. And I think that's amazing what Madonna had done for that. Does anybody want to chime in for Vogue lang?
I think this song was the song that introduced me to old Hollywood because Greta Garbo and Monroe.
And Monroe,
I
D3
had
and
to,
Machio, yeah.
I had to Wikipedia kaya, who was Greta Garbo?
Agree.
The way that
It
she
was, yeah.
old
Go on.
Hollywood talaga in the lighting. And she would reference classic portraits like the, shucks, I forgot the name, but the corset, that's a classic.
Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
Those performances, yeah.
Okay.
Ako, it introduced ball culture to everyone, to the world. That's why it was a monumental and very pivotal song for her career. Very brave of her to bring out queer kids from the underground scene of America to perform with her on VMAs. So it was a moment, and I will still believe na isa talaga siya sa front runners on becoming progressive when it comes to pop culture.
She was a pioneer.
Yeah, and the allyship that she showed was amazing in a time of turmoil in the gay community.
Definitely.
And fun fact also, I don't know how I know this, but fun fact that Marie Antoinette, the French Rococo dress that she wore for the 1990 VMAs performance was actually a gown that Glenn Close wore for Dangerous Liaisons.
Yeah.
But then they just like fitted it in a tailor lang and they took out a lot of the underskirts. But resourcefulness.
That's camp. That's referential. It's great. I mean, she's not as, I mean, like when I think camp, I think more of Gaga because like she really pushes the boundaries of that. But Madonna really set the tone for what pop stars, pop girls, pop women could be. So we will always respect her for that. She really set the tone.
And the way that Madonna would reinvent herself for every era, which is something that Gaga did.
Yeah.
Later on. Parang, yeah. A pioneer na.
Yeah. So the next one is Thriller. My whole family is are Michael Jackson fans, so I think that was just a huge thing to me when I finally researched it because it was something that was referenced in a lot of movies and a lot of shows. 13 Going on 30 comes to mind. So to see what it actually was, even though I was like already in my teens myself, I could understand, right, from watching it, why it was such a huge thing for our parents' generations and why it will continue to be something that will be referenced for the rest of history because Michael Jackson always had visions in terms of his music videos. Thriller is just one of them, but it's undoubtedly the most popular. But every single music video that he put out, there's always a concept behind it. And that's rare. It was rare for his time. So I don't think music videos would be what they are also if it weren't for MJ coming up with storylines and these grand ideas for them. So, ayun.
I'm still wondering why it's not on the list of Rolling Stone for 100 greatest music videos of all time.
Totoo ba?
I know, right? It's like
something you don't want to believe. It's actually
right. It belongs to culture. I mean,
low-key racist.
Formation is number one, though. I mean, by Beyonce. But then again, Thriller. I don't get it.
Everybody knows what this is when you do that.
It was a culture.
And that even if you just say the word Thriller, the image comes to mind. That orange
zombies,
the red jacket,
red jacket.
And all. Oh my god.
Parang yun na yun eh. Parang sabihin mo lang, alam mo na, yun na yun. Period.
And it was passed on to generations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You guys know it. We weren't born at that time, but we all know the visuals.
Yeah. The staying power. Again, like we talk about staying power of these music videos, but like Michael Jackson, like a lot of his music videos really have that iconic imagery to them. So, and Thriller, again, best of the best, I think. And then my next one, it's something that intersects between what I do for a living, which is advertising, and what we talk about. First Day High. I don't know if you guys, it was a shift. Like, I don't think I've ever seen an ad become that successful by
High.
diba? It's just so good, and I don't know, like I would go to school and everybody knew what I would say. When I would say nice guy, hi, lahat ng tao. Ganyan, diba? Like it was just a thing that gripped the nation in such a good way and turned into a freaking movie because of how popular it was. Grabe guys, like that was Kim Chu's first role. Kim Chu and Gerald Anderson's first roles were First Day High.
If parang that was the time na High School Musical was a thing, and that was our High School Musical.
It was our High School
It was our
Musical.
musical.
Yeah.
And
So again,
ma-associate mo yung mga kulay.
yeah.
The
Yellow was the
purple.
nerds, purple was the saucy girls, the reds were the jocks, blacks of course were the goths, and then the
Yeah.
blue were the nice guys. Grabe. I mean, I talk about the influence of advertising a lot, and First Day High to me was really just a showcase of how far you could take an ad. Because I still remember Rexona to this day as First Day
Galing,
High.
grabe.
Grabe. And then just very quickly lang for another like local music video, Pinoy Ako by Orange and Lemons. I think like that was a cultural shift as well. Even though the music video was really mostly just clips from PBB. But it felt good. It felt good listening to the song. And again, everybody knew what that song was when you would play it. That's What You Get by Paramore. I think that was my first ever like introduction to the band, and what a way to like show themselves to the world. That anger and grit that I never really felt until I saw Paramore. So I owe a lot of like my angry persona. Not one angry, but like my feisty persona to Paramore. So there's that. Telephone by Lady Gaga, which we briefly
Yes,
talked about
moment.
earlier.
Oh my God.
Grabe yun. That was an event. Like
Still to be
when you-
continued after 10 years, 11.
Diba? Like where is it? Where is it?
It was the
Can I
collab.
say
for me.
na nakakamiss makapanood ng long-form music videos? Kasi si Gaga
Yeah.
yung nag-push ng 7-minute or 8-minute. So
Yes.
parang,
Yes.
Diba? Diba siya? And again, like one of those things na kahit sinong kausapin mo, everybody knows the telephone music video. It doesn't matter if you're like gay or straight or you know.
Sunshine
Right.
Corazon knows it.
Sunshine Corazon, memorize
Exactly.
it.
And you know the lines. You've been a very bad girl, Gaga.
Sobrang galing ni Gaga because I think she was, in our generation, she was the first person to really push for couture and high fashion in her
Exactly.
videos. Every scene in her videos looked like an editorial.
Exactly.
And props
Something you
to
could
her.
find.
Yeah,
It
for
wasn't
making
just a-
Beyonce do camp.
Yes. Yes.
It wasn't just a cute outfit. It was something so strange and so
Right. The soda
I-
can on the hair.
Oh,
my
yes. It's just
Yeah.
like, you know, we're
The
manifesting that to
caution
happen.
tape.
Caution
Gaga
tape.
telephone video in the most in the most chic, jaw-dropping striped jumpsuit ever.
Yes.
Yeah,
The one with
but
the
it's
big
her
shoulders.
least favorite music video.
Right? Like what the heck?
Right.
Standards
it
natin.
is.
Yeah. Although paparazzi is a personal favorite of mine.
Oh,
If
yeah.
Same.
Paparazzi is my favorite. So yeah, Gaga, amazing visuals talaga, changed the game. Cholo mentioned Love Story earlier. Something that I think
Justin
is
Gaston.
something that's underrated in terms of Britney Spears' like music video, not discography, but like list, I guess, is Break the Ice. It was animated and it was just so chic and
I
cool.
know.
Right? Like it was so different for her. And I remember watching it and just being like blown away by what music videos could look like. Because I hadn't seen a music video like that until Break the Ice came along. So that's it for me. Because there's a lot of people to go through pa.
At dahil aalis na ang ating mga kapitbahay, lilipat bahay na sila in a while. Sila
Yes.
muna ang mauna.
Correct.
go.
Pasensya na kayo, kami ay merong solar power listening party.
Papaaraw na sila.
Yes.
harnessing the energy.
They're
Kailangan
gonna
natin
join
yung-
the cult of Lord.
Tama. I'll go first. So, I have 5. So, sobrang dami actually. So, nahirapan ako kanina. Sabi ko, ano ang gusto kong pag-usapan? Because, and you know, every iconic music video, there's always something to talk about. But first, on my list is Beyonce's Formation. It was a moment. First, it was released ng surprise.
Uh-huh.
and she gave it away for free. That's why it did not chart. So so she said, "Okay, I'm gonna give this song away out, and bala na kayo dyan." And did not even promote it. Did not even had the intention for it to be like a primer for Lemonade. So it wasn't even that. So it was just that. But that was the first time we get to know Beyonce as an unapologetic black woman. And I think it's very brave of her to be very political and to be very upfront. Although she's been doing all this, feminist thing. Yeah, the day Beyonce got black, that was a moment on SNL. Parang,
So
huh?
good.
Beyonce was black?
Yeah.
Beyonce
This
is black.
music is
So
not for me. It
right,
was, yeah.
right. And then boycott Beyonce. And then right after, a few days after that music video, she performed and hijacked the Super Bowl of Coldplay. So wearing this Michael Jackson inspired uh Black Panther inspired outfit. So that was a movement aside a moment for pop culture. That's why
Nagmukhang,
I listed it down.
nagmukhang backup
Sorry.
singer si Chris Martin.
Yeah.
Yung ball na yun.
I still think, but was it the right move to invite Bruno Mars and Beyonce to perform with you?
They
So,
needed some culture in their
Sabi ka naman makaano kay Bruno Mars.
they needed that to happen. But yeah, iconic and what a very beautiful way to begin the Lemonade era. Strong and black as fuck. So
And
yeah.
I feel like really that era of Beyonce definitely, made a mark as to what visionary artist she is now.
Correct.
From the formula pop kind of like manufactured days of pop music Beyonce. Now it's really like the artistry. And that began the movement not just not just with Beyonce, but so many artists to come after.
The visual albums became a thing. Surprise drops. Si Halsey, she's gonna release her own visual albums.
Nadine had her own visual album.
Nadine Lustre, which I'm gonna keep quiet about that. I'm gonna keep quiet about that. Okay, so that's it. Why did you mention Nadine Lustre? God damn it. I love Nadine. Okay, she did that. Anyway, so that's it for me. That's the long side. God
Don't
damn
come
it.
for him.
Ayoko talaga mapahamak. Gusto nyo ba yun? It's not her. It's her team.
We all have our preference and opinions, and this is a safe space. We love their president. Their president.
She did that, I guess. All right. Okay. Next is a personal favorite of mine is Gwen Stefani's School, because it's so
Correct.
cinematic. Like I can never watch a telenovela-ish music video after watching that Gwen Stefani with that, good acting kind of like parang, okay, mag-Joshua ako kasama ng bago mong girlfriend. I'm gonna sip. Ang lakas ng loob mo mang imbita pa sa akin, ha? I love that. Yeah, because I love it because it has a storyline that you were like so invested, like in just a span of few minutes of like, okay, Gwen Stefani, tell me more about that resentment, that feeling you're feeling now that your ex is there. I know we're cool, and like, okay, so that was a beautiful thing for me. Feeling ko it captured the song there, sonically and visually. So parang it's matched. That's why I like it so much.
Speaking of that,
Next.
gusto ko lang i-insert din
Yeah.
Jenny from the Block na parang
yeah.
the way it seeped into the 2021 era of they recreated that on the boat. That was just like
Yung
crazy.
the poet.
Exactly, exactly. Right? I want to also talk about motivation and how it encapsulated the culture of 2000s. Like
Crazy in love.
right, when Normani did that, the first few seconds, shit, alam mo ka, oh, it was inspired by Beyonce, Crazy in Love. And then right after that, they would be like, oh, there's Ciara, there's J-Lo, there's Rihanna. So Normani is a product of early 2000s. And when we
Uh-huh.
watched that music video, that's like, okay, I'm getting all the references, and that will make you really sound really old. But yeah, so that's it. I love motivation so much. Normani, she's that bitch, as per Nicki Minaj. Next. Ayoko talaga mapahamak dito sa, mamaya sabihin sa akin dito. Baka mapahamak ako sa show na to sa mga sinasabi ko eh. The villain
lang
edit, I
yan.
already have that on Pop Emergency. I have that already, but not here. Okay, next for me, I appreciate long-form music videos. Paula mentioned earlier her love for paparazzi. I think that's iconic. Together with the live performance from VMAs, I think that night, that was the best VMAs performance. And also for a newcomer like her, it was her introduction to the world. So kudos for Lady Gaga for spilling the fucking blood on that performance. But my personal favorite would be Lady Gaga's Alejandro, because it was so good. I mean, I don't know what the fuck is happening, but I'm living. You know what I mean?
Okay, Trinity.
Right? Like, she was holding
yeah.
this like frosted heart. She's like trying to, are you gonna bury your man? And then there's a lot of that bowl cut was iconic. Everyone was like laughing and wanting to have that hair on Tumblr back then. The GIF, and then that she was not Tumblr. Sorry. Right?
I'm having
Sabi ko,
more
nailapag po ng
flashbacks.
username.
More flashbacks.
On Tumblr.
Lalabasan na.
I know, but it was a culture before. I think that was right after Telephone. So right after Telephone, I guess that music video. So from that very camping music video, she returned to dark and transitioning to Born This Way. So okay, she's dark now, and the homage to Madonna on that music video is just so obvious, and I love it. There's this part of like dance break where she just do this. Did I just do that? That part, that was iconic for me. The burning of that inverted cross had all the Catholic girls pressed. That's why when she came here, ang dami nagprotesta na satanista to si girl. Bala kayo dyan.
And she got canceled. Anong country yun? Was that Indonesia or
Yeah,
Malaysia?
yeah. Indonesia.
Literally canceled her concert.
CBCP wanted to cancel her concert here, but
Yeah.
it prevailed.
Yeah, there was a protest that night and my lola said, sige, punta ka dyan. My grandmother said, I'm not gonna tell your mom that you went to that Lady Gaga concert. Like,
She's
Pero
an
ano yun
ally.
That kind of like really formed our parang consciousness of what is like acceptable, like because
Right.
Lady Gaga introduced those concepts.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. Like, parang visually, ba, would that affect really my faith? She was just trying to, right? So that was a good thing that she made me realize with all these visuals. Like, parang she's always pushing eh. We haven't had that time kasi to appreciate Madonna back then kasi we're young and we don't have the access to these visuals before. But I think she's one of those girls that kasama natin na lumalaki na parang, ay, bakit ganyan yung ginagawa niya? Oh my God. Diba? And it raised awareness on you. And then you get to understand moving forward her artistic direction when it comes to her music. That's why from Alejandro, hindi na ako nagulat when she did Judas, right? Or she was, doing this very good film for Mary the Night. So I think from then on, she got my respect as a visual artist. Yeah, I have a lot more, but let's stop there for the
I think
for the
her
foreign.
legacy, when it comes to visuals, is she was able to make the weird beautiful. In a way
Yes.
that it wasn't before Gaga.
Even the movements, yung malikot na movements, parang if pag ikaw gumagawa, you look like so dumb but stupid. But when she's doing it, Yes, I'm
Hashtag
living.
fantasy.
Yeah. Right. So that's it for the foreign music video. So for the local ones, it's just interesting for me when Sarah Geronimo did Dance Hall for Tala. And
Mhm.
kasi when you listen to the album, that's the only upbeat song you'll hear.
Uh-huh.
So it's very disconnected. Like, okay, bakit may Tala sa dulo? It's like her formation. And then it was very inspired by Rihanna's Where Have You Been? So all of it giving the Filipino vibe. So ang ganda. We haven't had a decent dance craze in a long time. So Sarah Geronimo brought that back. And I think the last time we had was the era of Sex Bomb Girls, which wala namang mga music video. So itong tala na to, sobrang enjoyable siya. And that's the last pre-pandemic memory we all have from the
All the
Christmas
Tala dance
parties that,
parties.
right? that you guys did. So it was a moment. It was a moment.
And ano rin, really like,
go.
just sorry, one last to add na parang on Tala, the note of Tala, the power of, yun na nga, as we were talking about earlier on in the show, na that was released like 2 years prior to when it became, 4 years before it became like a national phenomenon. But, you know, yun yung sinasabi natin about
Si
like
Benj ang nagper-perform sa Nectar.
Yun na nga,
na
di ba?
kamukha ni Sarah G. Pinasikat niya ang Sarah.
It proves that, you know, aside from Sarah Geronimo being Sarah Geronimo, the power that you can just like bring into an old song and make it something that everyone will like.
Exactly. So ang ganda na that was a beautiful observation because from then on, doon ko na-appreciate yung All I Want for Christmas Is You going to number 1. I'm like, a 25-year-old song?
Which is difficult to get, but
Not everybody has that. Sabi nga ni Mariah, but yeah, we can know, which, ang ganda, kasi, okay, eligible pa pala yun. Eligible pa pala mag-hit yun after a long
Walang
time.
Walang maluluma or luma ang kanta dahil
Diba?
pwede mo siyang ma-revive. Especially now with the TikTok generation.
Yeah. People in TikTok are doing Bills, Bills, Bills by Destiny's Child, not realizing that song was from 1997 or 1999.
They don't even know that it's from Destiny's Child.
They don't even know Destiny's Child, period.
Oh my God. I feel so disrespected. God damn it. These TikTok kids need... Okay, I'm gonna do a pop emergency TikTok after this. Just to educate y'all about the girls that you need to learn. Yeah, so that's it for me. Sarah G. Stala. And then, last for me is Alamat's Kasmala. I listed it down because it's future. It is the future. The Pinoy pop direction is very beautiful with all these visuals. Tatahimik siya. Okay. He has something to say.
Wag
with
dito.
all the SB19s, Bagyo, and lahat ng nagiging, alam mo yun.
The coconut nut,
Beanie
iconic
also,
already.
Exactly, di ba? Itong mga to, sila yung simula ng bagong generation.
Aris Racal, Ate Sandali. I have to put it there. Iconic.
And Donna Linis,
Kaka-Babe.
OMO.
And Kaka-Babe. Sabi ako ay paparada.
Happy break.
Tapos bababa ako ng nakaprada. Bars, Donnalyn. Bars. She did that.
Yes, Miss Donna.
I can on my own, sabi niya. But yeah, siguro I put it out there. Just sorry, Paula. I did that too. Why? Sabi ako ipaparada. Tapos bababa ako ng nakaprada.
Dapat may tayo, joint collaboration episode.
Yeah.
Reviewing Miss Donnalyn Bartolo.
Right.
Let's make it happen.
Donna, if you're listening right
Igalaw
now,
mo ang baso.
Hindi lahat ng maganda ay sasaktan ka lang. Diba? My Twitter bio now is simple walang arte, prente lang siya lagi. I mean, come
Love
on,
that for
Donalyn
you.
is the rap culture.
She's so underrated. Like, she
Right?
deserves more
Simple
love.
walang arte, prente lang siya lagi. Oh, period. Yeah, no, I don't know sila. Sorry. I have more. Do you want more, Paula? I have more Donna bars.
It was really when you were going, bars. Bars.
But is it? It is bars, right? Come on. Tabi, ako ay paparada.
Nicki Minaj of the Philippines.
Tapos bababa ako ng naka-Prada. Oh.
Did you
do that?
Nikki, I was gonna be like freaking Kanye. Are we doing
So when we listen or when we hear the word bars, we associate it with like pull up in the months, the automobile gangsta. But then
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Simple walang arte. Yun na yun,
we
yung
talk
bar.
about bars in the Philippines, simple walang arte.
Kaya nga, ano pangalan niya? Donalyn Bart. Ano may daw?
That was good. That was good. Donalyn Bars.
Also, may Lin sa pangalan niya. We respect.
Yeah, the Lin made it Filipino. Like Donna Lin.
Heidelin, Marjeline, Donalyn.
Yeah, all the Lins
There.
of world.
Era of
Donalyn
Lins.
Bars. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Donalyn
Donalyn
Bars.
Manuel Miranda.
She turned off her camera now.
Wala lang tayo. Ito na yung episode. That is...
I'm so sorry.
Thank you for listening to the we should end it here. I don't think anyone can say anything anymore.
I know that. I'm going to delete that. I'm not gonna put Kasmala on my list anymore. We're gonna put it out. Di lahat, Kakaibe, and OMO,
Yes.
like Donalyn Bartolome, will be the imprint of Pinoy.
Naiyak ako dun.
Because bars, right? Bars.
Yes, Donalyn Bars, period.
The Donalyn supremacy, we will not have any disrespect here.
She is the supreme.
The social media queen, as she says. Di ba namimigay ng 1 million pesos? Oh. Oh. Kasi nga, tabi ako ay paparada. Paparada.
Hindi na ko aalis si Alwin dito at pag-uusapan na natin buong gabi si Miss Donalyn.
Oh my God, we can do another episode for Donalyn Bartolome.
Push natin yan. Let's make
We should do a Lin episode.
Yeah,
Just
all
the
the
famous
Lins of the
Lin.
Lin Manuel Miranda, Lin of Las Vegas, Heidi Lin of Olympics. Because that's what Pinoy pop culture, bitch.
Oh my God. That should be a runway theme.
Itutuloy.
Ang milyong Lin ng Pilipinas. Category.
The dot.
So much. We had fun.
Kami naman aakyat sa inyong bahay, sa kabilang
Yes,
bahay.
papapasukin namin kayo sa Pop Emergency.
Yes.
Yes,
Fiesta
maraming
naman.
salamat.
Bahay Cholo, Paula, Jer, Maxine, and Perns.
Let's
Thank
go.
you so much.
Salamat mga
Thank you,
kapitbahay. Good
Bye.
night.
Bye, guys.
Ituloy niyo yung episode daw. Huwag niyong tapusin na.
Tuloy-tuloy pa rin.
Yes. And I want more bars from Paula.
Yes,
Goodbye, guys.
next time.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice.
Thank
Stream
you.
solar power tonight.
Yes.
Selfie tayo. Paano mag-selfie?
Picture
Ay,
na
oo nga,
tayo.
picture mo
Go,
tayo.
go.
Focus.
So ayun na nga, umalis ng ating mga kapitbahay, but we definitely had a great time hanging out with them kahit dito lang sa virtual space. So thank you again. Thank you again to Adrian and Alwin for coming on to the
Yes.
show, and we hope
You know what
to have more episodes.
Sounds like meeting really cool people at bar. Ron. And going off the 2000s theme, I wanted to give a shout out to Too Little Too Late by JoJo.
Yes.
I was prepping for this podcast. I watched all the music videos on my list. Tawang-tawa ako because this sobrang snapshot of the 2000s with the Motorola Razr phone. They were using all the blouses na sobrang haba hanggang thighs. And the big ass hoop earrings and the glasses na ang lala ng gradient. Sobrang snap and the chunky highlights. Sobrang snapshots of the 2000s. And I included this because like sobrang, when I look back at it, I get sad thinking of Jojo's career. If only she had better management, she'd be on the same level as Ariana.
Yep.
Nowadays.
She's
Like,
so talented. Like she
she's
literally
talented.
deserves so much
Insane.
more.
And it's just sentimental to me because The High Road by JoJo was one of the first albums I bought with my own money.
Oh.
Remember the Philippine editions of the CDs back then? That were cheaper? Parang $3.50 na lang siya instead of $4.99.
Yeah.
I bought it with my own allowance. The High
I
Road by
love
JoJo.
it.
And then we have, well, I feel like Alwyn made a really good point about how Formation Beyonce, we started seeing Beyonce as an artist and as a visionary, and we saw what kind of artist that she wants to be. But my personal favorite Beyonce is early 2010s Beyonce, Who Run the World.
Oh my
Same.
gosh.
Same.
It was when you saw Beyonce as the story de force that just can't be stopped. Na
Love on top.
Beyonce, Love on Top. Na parang she was this
Diva.
explosion of talent. The diva nga talaga.
I Am Sasha Fierce was like a whole movement in itself talaga.
Like yung Single Ladies pa lang mismo na parang everyone was doing it.
All the weddings, all the debuts.
Grabe.
Single Ladies. And like, until now, if you see people do this with their hands, you know.
Oh my God, Kurt Hummel doing it.
Yes, an iconic one.
Joe Jonas, I think.
He did.
Yes.
And
oo
he
nga.
dressed up, like he wore the black
Yeah.
outfit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, sino tong Miss Universe contestant that was dancing Single Ladies in the background while everything was happening? That was nice also. As in, memorize niya yung buong choreo. That's how iconic Single Ladies was.
And my last music video is, and I didn't write it pala, is Applause by Lady Gaga. My personal favorite of all the Gaga music videos.
Oh my God.
I know that we all joke about the art pop era. Na, oh, hello,
It's so good. I can't.
So good.
art.
My dream Halloween costume, which I plan to execute before I turn 30,
Specific.
is Lady Gaga in that clown makeup and the turtleneck and the head covering with that huge ass parachute.
So Sasha Velour in.
So Sasha Velour.
So Sasha Velour.
Thoughts on that actually? I don't think Sasha executed it that well on the
Oh
runway.
yeah, there were missing elements. Grabe, naging Drag Race critique episode.
Welcome back to our Drag Race
Ang
episode.
ganda, the way that Pat McGrath did her makeup for that look.
Yeah.
And the way that Pat did it was, even though it was face paint, you can see the contours. Sobrang defined yung mata. It was a smoky eye in red and blue. It was amazing. Colors of the Philippine flag.
Yes, Philippine representation.
And then it goes back to what we were talking
Stephanie
about.
Joanne.
Right, it goes back to what we were talking about, how Lady Gaga made the weird beautiful. And I think Applause was
Elevation.
part of that. And like it was shot by Inez in the Nude. So I think she started the trend of getting these huge high fashion photographers to shoot music videos. Without Applause, I don't think that Petra Collins would shoot Olivia Rodrigo's Brutal music video, which we're all looking forward to. Anyway, that's the last of my recos.
All right,
Stan or pop?
Okay, sige, I can go. I only have a few lang because I don't really consider myself na a big music person. But like, when I think music videos talaga, like, I remember the very first one that I ever watched. It's so random. It was Summer Sunshine by The Course. I don't know why, but for some reason, it's what I think na, what's the first music video I watched? Yun talaga, that's what, I watched it on mix pa at home. I remember. Oo, I remember, and it was so weird that I keep seeing these people trying to avoid the sunshine while the house was getting destroyed. Hindi ko talaga ma-explain, but that's what I remember first. But I guess what music video made an impact on me was "Wake Me Up When September Ends" by Green Day. And I guess that was like the moment. And all those songs that followed na like yung mga music videos ng Fall Out Boy,
Oh my gosh,
ng
the Black Parade.
by My Chemical Romance. It became like, especially coming from an all boys school, like suddenly it became like a
That was
place
the
for them.
movement in all boys schools.
Oo, like sobrang pakul yung mga lalaki, sobrang emo ng ugali.
On the
Naka-jacket lagi.
Yeah.
Naka-jacket, oo. Like, I can't, sobrang, that's how strong Green Day and MCR was. And that's why I felt really sad when MCR ended in 2011.
These were the boys na lagi na the disciplinary office kasi hindi sumusunod sa haircut.
Yeah, exactly.
Mahaba yung buhok nila.
Oh, exactly.
Tapos nag-eyeliner sa school. Oh my God.
Yun yung representation of the spectrum. On one side, we had the Gagas, the Miley Cyruses, and on the other side, you
Yeah, the
kind of have
Green
MCRs and
Oh,
the
yeah.
Boys like girls.
FOBs, ganon.
Boys like girls.
Boys like girls. My gosh. Thunder, Hero, Heroine.
Red jumpsuit apparatus.
Red
Oh
jumpsuit.
my God.
I feel
Your
like
guardian angel.
Your hope die.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Gra- What?
Nawala
Fueled
ka,
by
Jer.
ramen.
Ayan.
Do you guys remember Fueled by Ramen?
Yes.
Yes.
Fall
Yes.
Out Boy, Hey Monday.
Hey, Monday.
Paramore was there, diba?
Paramore.
Like, that era.
Na-excite ako mag-karaoke tuloy after the whole pandemic.
Popcorn karaoke.
Guys,
With
grabe.
Pop Emergency. Donald Park.
Donalyn Bars!
I feel like in 2007, we all forced ourselves to be sad.
Yeah. Because of the
And then-
music we were listening to.
Tapos, that's for international. And then for local, I guess in the same way, in local, what got me into appreciating how good OPM was listening to yung mga bands din natin. So, mga pinapakinggan ko was Proc ni Edgar.
Yes.
For some reason, sobrang weird lang yung kahit Bang Jose lang, tsaka yung tsaka
Bang
Mr. Suave lang. Yung mga ganun lang. Ganun lang. So, I was like, gusto pala yung mga OPM. And that's when I started listening to sa Kalya Lily, sa Kyushay, sa Sugar Free.
Pogi
Like
Rock.
Chillworms.
Again, like, if you're in a all-boys school, makita mo may nagja-jamming lang, nagigitara ng Magbalik, ng gitara, ng Harana. That's all they were playing lang. Grabe.
Grabe yung throwback ko sa Harana, sa Ateneo
Oo.
Boys na kumakanta ng Harana sa tapat ng gate.
See? Grabe yun. But I guess like as OPM music videos goes, I guess what I really remember was ang huling El Bimbo. Like it was very cute lang. And I guess it struck me a lot because the girl there was wearing a school SHS uniform and my mom and my sister kasi went there. So I was like, parang by association alam ko yung song. But yun nga, but that's what showed me na OPM songs are really great. Na wala. That's why I only have two playlists on Spotify. One is for film scores, one is for OPM, and I keep adding more OPM songs because
Very Prince yan.
yeah, it's very me, but ganun talaga ang appreciation for Filipino music because wala, undeniably amazing. And even yung mga bagong Four of Spades, Muni Muni,
Yes.
kahit even Ben and Ben, Bandang Shirley, ang gaganda ng mga nila. Like it's a new generation of Filipino music and wala, ang ganda ng napapakinggan ko sa kanila. So yeah, that's all from me.
All right. And of course, our bunso, Miss Max Nay. Let's go.
The Reb of popcorn.
Oh my God, dibs on Bea Alonso.
Ako si Tony.
Hindi, ako si Tony. We can both be Tony.
I can be Angel Locsin then.
Akala mo pa bakit?
Sige, ako na si Shaina para
Okay.
at least ako hindi yan nalalak, di ba?
I don't even know how to continue this conversation anymore.
Okay. Go, Max. Go, Max.
Max, just go, Max. Just go.
Okay. So, we were talking about Joe Jonas a bit ago. The first music videos that I have very distinct memories
Ganito
of
ka bata
are the
si Max,
Jonas
ha?
Brothers. Yeah, exactly. Jonas Brothers, come on, guys. SOS. But
Oh yeah.
Burning Up
Yeah.
was the one. Burning Up was the one that people remember so much because that's the one where Nick Jonas and Selena Gomez were still together. So she appeared in the music video, and then and then they had their bodyguard rapping and everything. Also,
I was gonna say that was like my favorite part of that whole song.
What's his name ulit, the bodyguard?
Big Rob.
Big Rob.
Big Rob.
I was gonna say Big Sean, but it's another artist.
Just from a fangirl perspective, it was the music video where Nick Jonas cut his hair.
Yes.
So good.
Okay. Then the next one I want to say, okay, Call Me Maybe, because
Yes.
Call Me Maybe gave birth to so many fan videos. Like, that was one of the first viral internet trends. Like, I remember on Twitter, because like Twitter was relatively new then, and then sila Justin Bieber, speaking of Selena Gomez again, they made their own version of Call Me Maybe, and then that gave birth to a lot
The It
more
Girls,
people
when
making it.
Anne,
Regina
Solen,
Solan.
Georgina.
Gaga Jeremiah, that was her freshman year college.
I know. I remember some sinag. with
Yeah,
Paul-
dude, exactly.
I feel so
Sana
old.
natin. Oh my God. Okay.
Max, can I just find out how old were you when Call Me Maybe came out?
I was 13.
Oh my god.
Not that bad. Not that bad.
Not that
I
bad.
was in my
Not that
first
bad.
year of high school.
Yeah, not that bad.
I was gonna feel bad if you said something like grade 4.
Yeah, or like, if you said 8 or something like that. Like, I can't do that. I don't think I would be able to do that.
I'll just leave this group.
Yeah. This is ageist. This is ageist. I can't.
Okay.
But yeah,
And-
definitely, that opened up the doors for Miss Carly Rae Jepsen and the now established Iglesia ni Carly, which you can listen to in like 2 episodes we had yata before about Carly Rae Jepsen. So go check those out. Anyway, go Max.
I think almost every popcorn episode I've seen and been in turns into a Carly Rae Jepsen episode somehow.
We can't not talk about Taylor Swift, Carly Rae, Miley Cyrus. Those people.
Yes, exactly. Golden Trio, which brings me to like Hannah Montana. I think she had more performances than music videos, but then yes, grew up with Hannah Montana. The Climb was my favorite. All of you already mentioned Love Story and You Belong With Me, because like until now people still do that paper thing from You Belong With Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what I remember from the early 2010s is what people like doing were like, I think it was mentioned earlier, those long music videos where there's like a whole plot. It's like a short film already. And I remembered Popular Song by Mika and Ariana Grande. Do you guys remember that? Yeah,
Yes.
that was a whole story and bunch of effects. So yeah, I remember that. And then for my local ones, the first thing that came to my head, this is super recent. Like I think this was from the last 2 years, but Come Inside of My Heart of Four of Spades because of the dog. The
Grabe
dog
yung
was so
production
cute.
nun.
Yes, exactly. Like the
God.
production value of that whole music video, especially that time. I think what they were doing in that music video wasn't very common, like here especially.
Yeah,
So it was,
Four of Spades
right?
changed the game in terms of local music videos at that time.
Super.
Ganda ng vision of Four of Spades.
Yeah.
Yes, super. And then the last one, well, this was from a movie called Paglisan, which is a Filipino animated movie which was made entirely with watercolor paintings and pastels. It's a very interesting movie and it's a musical starring Ian Veneracion and Eula Valdez. And the first song, Hari ng Kwento, had this really, really beautifully animated number. Like, I would consider it a music video because people do take the clips of the songs and turn them into music videos because they're just that great. Like if you watch it, the use of the paintings, things as small as the colors and the like how opaque each person is in that number. It's just really, really nice. And I chose that song out of all the songs in the movie because of how it set up the movie so well. You guys should really see the movie. It also has some members of the Ateneo community like who worked on the production of it. Like I know some of my professors are script supervisors, and it's a really, really good movie. And the artistic choices of how they framed everything, like the things that you don't think are important, it just tied everything together so nicely. And it's so much better to see it than for me to describe it. But yeah, those are my picks. since we gotta end soon.
All right. So, as you may have listened or watched at this point, ang dami talagang music videos na, I'm sure when we have conversations with other people pa from our popcorn circle, there's gonna be even more and more that we're gonna be talking about. And, syempre ngayon, K-pop then, I would say, I guess BTS Idol featuring Nicki Minaj was like really like something that got me into K-pop, that started my, I guess, renewed like a love for K-pop. But anyway, we all talk about our modern faves all the time. So it was nice revisiting a lot of our childhood and Maxine's infancy. um, and yun. So, music videos definitely are an evolving art, and that we're excited to see much more coming from not just local artists but also international artists as well. So that kind of wraps up our music videos that made us discussion. And now, of course, we are heading on to our last part of the show, which is our pop stop, which is our top picks and recommendations for anything pop culture that we have consumed this week. And we would like to recommend. I will begin. Speaking of queens and K-pop, Red Velvet is back with their 6th mini album called Queendom. Rightfully so. I love this album, this mini album. Walang tapon. Perfect comeback. I mean, not really perfect, because Psycho itself is like the comeback of all Red Velvet comebacks at this point. But a great follow-up. Syempre, bumalik na si Wendy. And it's just nice getting that feel-good bubblegummy Red Velvet back also after, syempre ngayon mga uso, mga harder K-pop like Blackpink, ITZY, mas mga hard concepts, but just a cute Red Velvet. And this EP or mini album kind of leans toward the more retro trends. So ang ganda ng isang B-side called Hello Summer, if I remember correctly. That's the name of the song. So I mean, the whole thing is really good. There's also a song called Pose. That's really fun to listen to. Hindi pala summer, Hello Sunset. My bad. Anyway, so aside from that, a new artist to watch out for in OPM is a new artist called Lore. Super great. Listen to her now while she's new, before everyone else gets on this whole Lore train. Her new song is called Sakai, and basta everyone that gets to listen to this for the first time are just kind of like blown away. So I hope that it's the same for everyone else who gets to listen to this after my recommendation. So those are my 2 for the week. And ito pala, sabihin ko lang din yung kay Adrian na tinype niya dito. Diablo 2, Resurrected, and Queer Music, Shura, and Ben Platt. I would actually recommend Ben Platt's Reverie album. So good. Ako sobrang nakarelate ako sa album na yun. So yeah, that's it for me.
And Adrian.
And Adrian.
Adjacent. I can go next. So I've been watching like older or shows that I haven't seen that are very, very good these past few weeks. So the first one that I'd want to recommend is the 1995 version of Pride and Prejudice. So it's a 6-episode run on BBC. I know like that the film with Keira Knightley is such a wonderful rendition of the book, but I think if you want something that's a little closer to the book itself, try watching the show. It has young Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. So like, what more could you want from your Austen romance, right? So I definitely recommend that. And I also recently started The Newsroom, Aaron Sorkin's The Newsroom. I think it's even more relevant now pa nga than when it was in 2012, because fake news, all of that stuff, which they actually cover in the show, and how the media can manipulate your views on politics and everything. So Aaron Sorkin is a genius writer. I mean, not so much a genius, but like he's an amazing writer. And if you want to learn even just like a little bit of the art of dialogue and back and forth, watch anything that he makes. And I think the newsroom is such a good example of how you can create such tension with just two people talking. So there's that. And I think because I forgot to mention this earlier, and I have been rewatching a lot of his videos again. Something that really shaped my childhood in terms of music videos is Weird Al Yankovic. And I didn't get to mention that earlier, but Trapped in the Drive-Thru, I think, was the music video for me that really got me into his content. But the way that he parodies, kasi nobody does that anymore, at least to the scale that he did, the dedication that he had for the art, because it's not easy to parody a song and make it as funny as Weird Al Yankovic does. And it's such a big part of people's like humor growing up that even if you get little kids to listen to Fat or Eat It right now, it would still be funny to them. And that kind of timelessness in terms of humor is very, very hard to come by. So yeah, Weird Al Yankovic's Trapped in the Drive-Thru, that 15-minute long animated music video is pretty great. That's me.
Go, Jer.
I'll go next. Okay, so I've been watching a lot of TV recently, and can I just say 2021 is such a good year for TV.
Oh yeah.
All these amazing I feel like that's another episode on its own, how the pandemic just brought so much good TV, but I digress. One of my recos for the week is The White Lotus, which just finished. Mike White, who we all know as Professor Ned Schneebly from School of Rock, wrote and created and directed the show.
Oh,
yes, yes. He also did Enlightened with Laura Dern in 2011, if I am correct. But essentially, White Lotus is about a group of rich, mostly white people vacationing at a private, rich Hawaiian resort and just being horrible people. It's brilliant because it examines the relationship between these rich white people just having the time of their lives and lounging by the beach and sipping their cocktails, which should sound harmless, right? But also, while doing so, they are enabling a huge corporation to continue stealing the land of indigenous people in Hawaii. And I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know how to continue.
And Jennifer Coolidge. Isa ang Jennifer Coolidge dyan, Jay.
Wait, sige. I'm a very insecure person.
We love that.
Yeah, anyway. The performances, the casting, who includes Murray Bartlett from HBO's Looking, Connie Britton, Steve Zahn, Alexander Daddario, Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria. All these people, I really do believe, give the best performances of their career in the show. And it's just the writing also so good. Just you see the tension between how rich people can just do whatever the hell they want without care for the repercussions, which they don't suffer because it's always the people who wait on them, the hotel staff, the people whose lands they are stolen and they now enjoy. It's those people who suffer it. So it's the first show I think I've watched that does comedy so bleakly and darkly and bitterly, but still funny. So I'd be so surprised if by the next Emmy circuit, The White Lotus doesn't sweep all the nominations for each category.
I mean, the Emmys did nominate Emily in Paris, so the bar is kind of low.
Well, yeah. Pero it will face competition from Ted Lasso, so.
Naman.
That's true. Another show that I watched is Kevin Can Fuck Himself, which I just watched the first 2 episodes. Do you know that trope in the 2000s sitcoms in the 2000s where a funny boy-like, usually overweight dad is married to a super hot wife who's always responsible.
Mhm.
So the great thing about this show is that whenever the main character Allison, who's portrayed by Schitt's Creek's Annie Murphy, a little bit Alexis, she portrays the hot, responsible wife in this
Okay. I guess
2000 sitcom.
sorry nawala ka
Cut
for a
na ba?
while.
Oh,
You're back now though.
Kevin,
You can repeat.
himself.
You can
Great
repeat
show.
it. I'll just edit it.
Where did I get cut off?
Annie
You can
Murphy.
start with Kevin can fuck himself, I guess. Yeah.
Sige. So Kevin can fuck himself. Do you guys know that trope in 2000 sitcoms where there's a lovable, fun, immature, usually overweight man played by the kinds of actors like Kevin James, and then he's usually married to a really hot, responsible wife.
Uh-huh.
So this is what the show explores. So Shit Creek's Annie Murphy plays Allison, who's the hot wife in this scenario, who's responsible. Think of Claire Dunphy, usually picks up after her husband. And while she's with her husband, you see the show is presented in the classic sitcom tropes, multicam setup, bright lighting, laugh tracks, the works. But when Allison is alone, you get to see the cracks under the sitcom format. She's presented, the show does a wild turn and presents everything a la Walter White in Breaking Bad with dark lighting. You see, yes, very WandaVision siya-ish. But I love how the show plays around with production techniques to make points about how shows like The King of Queens or Everybody Loves Raymond actually contributed to a lot of misogyny in the 2000s when it comes to dealing with women. One of the jokes in the show is when Allison would say something like, "I've been thinking," the men would be like, "Oh, not again."
Oh, so very meta din talaga siya, ganun.
Very, very meta and very interesting. It's one of the more experimental shows that I've seen in a while. But it's also really funny. It's also really heartbreaking. And really good work by Annie Murphy as well. And the way that she just portrays the tiredness of women in today's society, of wives who have to put up with their immature husband's bullshit. Really good. Ganda. That's it for me.
All right. And Perns is taking his Whitney Houston this week because he has nothing.
Okay. To be fair kasi I'm still getting into that pop culture, getting back into it. But fun fact lang, because I'm assuming you guys don't know, Mike White was a contestant in Survivor.
Yes.
Oh.
I won't say what he finished at, but medyo interesting yung gameplay niya in his season. So
Part of Prince's
you guys get to watch it.
Survivor
Yeah.
marathon.
Yeah. Pero ayun nga, I am actually gonna get into a big groove now because I'm gonna start watching all the movies I watch. So I'm gonna watch tomorrow. I'll probably see Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
And then after this episode, I'm gonna finish downloading Green Knight.
Yes.
Meron na.
It's out.
Meron
It's out.
na.
Yeah.
Maganda na.
And then I'm also gonna watch the serious movies like Pig nga and Coda, which has Marley
I've been hearing
Matlin.
a lot about that.
So it's one of the movies na talagang I've been waiting to see if it's actually worth it, and I'm hearing a lot of things about it. Pero like since nga I didn't consume a lot of pop culture this week, I'm hoping you guys can help me choose because I'm almost done with The Office. So I need a new comedy series that will like parang
Parks and Rec.
just
Parks and Rec.
Just
Yes.
get me
Period.
okay,
Okay.
Parks and Rec.
That's not a question.
Parks and Rec is Chris Pratt and
Amy
Amy Poehler.
Adam Scott.
And who are
Cholo.
the creators? Yeah.
Mike Schur.
Mike Schur.
But
Mike Schur.
if you like
Okay.
The Good Place, you love
And The Office. It's
Okay.
like it was kind of created as supposedly a spin-off of The Office, but
Oh.
kind
It
of
became its own
yeah,
thing.
it became its own thing. Yeah.
And similarly to The Office, it gets its groove after the first season.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Honestly, Prince, parang feel ko you can skip the first season altogether.
No, there's funny moments naman in the
Yeah,
first
I would
few
I would
episodes.
keep it just for the sake of it. And then 6
There are
episodes
moments
lang
there.
naman.
tapos, is it on Netflix Philippines?
No, it's
parang
on Prime Video.
Okay, looks like I'm going back to the VPN then. Okay.
I was gonna say like I can lend you. Like, pero naman pala. You're good.
So, I'm good. But yeah, that's all from me. I'm excited to be back to watching movies again.
Yay.
Awesome. And of
Yay.
course, Max.
Here we go again. The things y'all say on record. So anyway, my recommendation would be Marvel's What If, so that you guys can join us on Popcorn when we talk about it.
Yes.
Right? And
First
then,
2 episodes. My gosh.
I'm so excited to see the episode from this week because unfortunately I saw spoilers, but it looks like a really, really good episode.
It was
So
a romp.
It's better than the first.
It
it's better than the first.
so much better than the first.
So
yeah.
much better in every
Right?
way.
Like it was just so good.
And I'm not biased at all.
No, neither am I. But yeah, it just objectively just much better.
Alright, I'll share my thoughts on that tomorrow. And then last, super wholesome recommendation, but since we were talking about Lin-Manuel Miranda a while
Speaking of
ago,
limbs.
Ito na naman tayo.
there's this new animated movie on Netflix called Vivo, where I think he
Oh, yeah,
directed
Vivo,
and
yeah.
did the music. And like, okay, for the story, expect like a very light, wholesome, Disney-ish cartoon type of story. But the music was really good. The music was so cute. So for that, go give it a view.
Netflix
Not
ba?
sponsored by Vivo, but we're open for sponsorships. And Netflix, hello. So that is it for our pop culture recommendations for the week. Definitely a fun episode on here. We've had such a blast and we've had so much bars thanks to our kapitbahays from Pop Emergency. So go check them out as well on the Pop Emergency podcast with Adrian and Alwin. And of course, go and check out Popcorn and all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you stream your podcasts. Of course, we're here on radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM. Thanks to the RK fam, always being so supportive. And go follow us on social media as we try and revive it. That's at Popcorn with Cholo, at Popcorn with Cholo on IG, Twitter, and Facebook. And we will all see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munchin' with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration.